With what the European Union and China declared today, XRP is about to take a major turn for the worse. We all know that every day is a total roller coaster, which is why I'm doing this video. I want to share with you the latest, greatest, and maybe worst news that is out there. To start, the European Union wants US taxes to remain in place because talks are coming to a stop. It's fascinating what the European Union says now. They've essentially stated that Trump doesn't want to make a deal, and that the tariffs were just an excuse to put them in place, which is very interesting given what Trump has been saying. The European Union believes that these tariffs won't be going away anytime soon, because they can't really come to an agreement. So, what do you think? Please share your thoughts below. If this continues for too long, it will have a significant impact on inflation, which I know Trump does not want to increase, at least not in the near future. The S&P 500 has also gone down since the EU said tariffs will stay in place and talks about them haven't made much progress. There were some pretty big changes in the S&P, which went from almost 5,500 below to $54. There's no doubt that this will have a pretty big effect on the trading markets for both the S&P 500 and cryptocurrency. XRP was selling very close to $220, and after this news came out there weren't any crazy drops of 30% in one day, but the stock was down a couple of percentage points, which is still something that should be looked at. The next thing I see as granite cracking is sales of single-family homes in a strong market. I usually use this measure to figure out where the economy is likely to go in future, because it is very likely to be the most important one. This means that there are a lot more new lists of homes, but sales are either slowing down or staying the same. This is a scary sign that the housing market is about to crash. So this is what we see now, by the way. When the housing market crashes, that's probably the bottom of market. It's a great time to buy. Right after that, it looks like there are now 500,000 new single-family houses for sale, is the most since November 2007, when there were 400,000. Yes, that was an interesting time that I think a lot of you will remember. As you may remember, the market was just about to reach its peak in 2007. Since more and more people are not paying their debts and are attempting to sell their homes because they can no longer afford to do so, the number of new homes on the market has more than tripled since 2004. It appears that the banks are under the same kind of stress today. And if this continues, stimulus, quantitative easing, and bank bailouts will be necessary. The banks started to fail shortly after the new home statistics were released. There were only 142,000 new homes for sale 13 years ago, which was a very strong market. Now there are more new homes on the market than there have been since the housing bubble in 2006, when new single-family homes for sale in the South fell by 8,000 to 296,000, which is almost at an all-time high. There were 291,000 in 2006, the year before the home market crash, but this is more than that. Do you think home prices will drop soon? I think they will. But it seems like the Fed should start making money soon, which is why Trump is pleading with the Fed to act immediately. However, the Fed uses data that is roughly 3 months old, and this approach is very outdated and doesn't work with today's fast-paced economies. Undoubtedly, there is a need for change, but it is evident that China's messages are becoming increasingly antagonistic toward the U.S. In fact, the recent statement made by China about the U.S. was that it has no shame and that the tariff war will soon fail. In other words, China is saying, hey, listen up, the US needs us a lot more than we need the US, and we have been selling goods made in our country to the US for tens of years. And listen, it's okay if you guys no longer want to buy our stuff. You'll enjoy higher prices which you can't pay for now because your economy is about to crash. Not exactly what was said, but the majority of what Chinese President Xi Jinping has been saying lately is essentially the same. That our economy is in decline right now, prices are rising for you guys, and things will get worse if we continue in this direction. I'm not sure what Trump has planned for inflation yet, but I believe he will surprise me once more. Inflation rates went down after the first couple of times he put taxes on other countries, which was one of the things that surprised me about him, so maybe he's making plans for something here. Maybe he's going to pass an executive order that will cap prices or something. It's possible that he has a deal. Any of these price hikes and keep prices low for customers. I'm not sure, but if you guys have more to say about that, please let me know in the comments. Looking forward to reading your answers on that, because I believe inflation is going to happen because of the way Trump is running things right now. There will be inflation unless something else goes wrong. The United States is still not able to make things. They need some time. I also think it's great that manufacturing is coming back to the United States, but yeah, that short-term pain hasn't been seen much outside of the stock market yet. That's why I want to know when prices will begin to shift. Do you mind paying more if it means you won't be able to do business with China? One more thing I really need to hear from you. Now, using cryptocurrency is one possible plan that the Trump government has. So one thing the Trump government said recently is that they might use tariff money to buy Bitcoin. Very interesting. That's why they want customs to be used instead of income tax. That's one thing Trump has said. They also want to possibly buy cryptocurrency with money from tariffs. I'd like to play this clip for you guys quickly because I believe it is one of the most interesting things that has come to our attention lately anyhow. Let me play this video, but I've also heard Nick and others talk about the idea that maybe we can bring in money from outside sources and use that. So how are you guys maybe thinking about, okay, what are the ways we could go buy more Bitcoin? From a framework point of view, I think Senator Lemus has a great idea with the Bitcoin Act of 2025. No, it's been a big hit with the public, but what you would do is revalue the gold certificates that are currently in the Treasury. Most of them are worth about $43 an ounce, which is a lot less than what they're really worth. Yes, that's right. The price of gold right now is what, $3.0000 an ounce. You could use that extra money to buy more Bitcoin that could be used for the reserve if you took that amount. That's just one thought, though. You know that's going around right now. It goes all the way to Capitol Hill. Let's see how many co-sponsors she can get and how get her co-workers on board. There are, however, a lot of creative ways that we can accomplish this, whether they originate from tariffs or something else. There are literally a million different ways. I will allow some of our members of the Interagency Working Group to generate ideas in their own offices, and we will examine everything, even though we have already stated that we want to see everything that is available. As we begin to clean up some of these processes, we are making sure that nothing is overlooked.